Have you ever had that relative that says they got you something for Christmas, but it's February and you still haven't seen anything yet? Yeah, I guess that's me right now. Sorry, bro. Welcome back to comptv, a place you can go for all things tech. Today, I'm updating my brother-in-law's gaming PC from the 2010 system that I fixed in a video a few months back. I'll link all of the relevant content in the description as well as in the cards above, so check those out if you're interested. Basically, once I fixed his system, it didn't take me long to realize that it wasn't the most ideal gaming rig for 2016 or 2017. To be more clear, the main reason he wanted it fixed was so that he can play Cities Skylines. If you've seen any of my videos and benchmarks so far on the channel, I have yet to build a system that can play Cities Skylines on max settings with anything over an average of 50 FPS. And sometimes that's the max. Here's a recap of the parts in his old system just as a quick heads up. The test system in use features a dual-core, 4-thread i3 550 clocked at 3.2 GHz, coupled with an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 460 and 8GB of Patriot DDR3 RAM. So with that said, let's see if given the parts I'm upgrading him with today, he can get some playable frame rates on Cities Skylines. Alright, so we're going to do this in a vlog format again. Sorry for the audio as always, since I'm going to be using my camera's audio, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the parts that we're going to be using, and then I'll get a little bit more specific. So as you can see here, we have a white case, a GTX 460, an FX 6300 processor, 8GB of DDR3 RAM, and a 500GB hard drive. This case was actually the one that was featured in my old rig. If you look at some of my older videos, you can see it in the background, and I'll probably drop a quick video right here. The RAM and GPU are actually a part of that 6-year-old PC video. You can check that out here in the card above. Alright, so let's just get into the parts a little bit more specifically. This case right here, I believe, is called the DIY PC S380 White Edition. I got it on Black Friday last year, well, 2015, so I guess 2 years ago now. And it cost about 30 bucks after mail-in rebate. Along with the mail-in rebate, I got this EVGA 500 watt power supply. I think it was around $20 after rebate. Either way, it was 30 and 20. I don't know which one was which, but just swap those. This case comes with 2 blue LED fans. It had a third one, but I took it out because I didn't think I needed it. I'll be using that in the future if I need a blue LED fan, which you know I love. I'm going to be using an M5A97 motherboard by Asus. I think this is an AM3 LUS socket. It's got 4 slots for RAM. I'll only be using 2 of them, and as you can see, the PSU is already wired from my old system. I already have the 6300 installed. It's at stock clocks with a stock fan, and if he does update his GPU at some point, I'll probably swap this out for a better cooler and overclock for him. But if he's just going to be playing Cities Skylines, I don't think it's really worth it at this point. Also, comptv pro tip: if you're building a system and you don't have much room for cable management, which this case does have a jutted out back panel, but it's not that great. It still doesn't hold the wires all that well. I just shove them right up here in the CD drive bay because I never use 3.5-inch drives. And then, as usual, I stick a black piece of cardboard. You can see those wires poking through. It doesn't look all that great. I just think this, you just slide it in here just like this. I just think this adds so much to the build. So do that if you're like me and you don't like seeing the ugly cables. I'm not the best at cable management, but little tricks like that I think go a long way. I'm gonna be sticking his old hard drive right in this middle slot of the hard drive cage, and that will be cooled properly by the fan, which is important again, because you don't want your hard drives overheating. That can kill them very quick, and this is an old hard drive, so who knows how much life it has left. As for his GPU, we're gonna be using the 460. I don't have any other cards laying around, or else I would have given him a nicer one. This is actually much better than the 5770s that I have laying around, so I'm just going to reuse this. Again, he's not going to need much more power than this for Cities Skylines. The 8GB of DDR3 RAM should be perfect for his gaming purposes and should go a long way. He could throw another 8 gigs in, but all he's going to be doing is gaming, so I don't think it's necessary. Again, the FX 6300 has a base clock of 3.5 GHz with a 14 MB total cache, and it will boost up to 4 GHz. So I think this will be the perfect CPU for what he's going to be using it for. And the 500 watt power supply should be perfect for all of this to power it all and even give us a little bit of room for overclocking if we do that in the future. But so what I'm going to do is do a quick time lapse of me putting this together and managing the cables pretty nicely, and then we'll get straight into the benchmarks. You might be wondering why I didn't upgrade his GTX 460, but we will get to that later in the video. I do, however, plan to add a new CPU cooler in the future for some overclocking headroom, so I'll keep you updated there. Also, I'm repeatedly mentioning on this channel that I'm not a professional techie, I'm just a huge fan and consumer like all of you, so as I make these mistakes and learn, I'll be able to plan better for the future before I do various tasks such as this upgrade. So thank you for bearing with me as I make a fool out of myself. I was pretty happy with how the cable management turned out, especially with the comptv cardboard cover, patent pending. So with no messy cabling going on and with the build looking pretty solid, let's see how it performed in a few benchmarks, including Cinebench, Firestrike, Overwatch, and finishing off with Cities Skylines to see if our challenge was completed successfully. The Cinebench results were as expected, with the FX 6300 coming out with a 375. This isn't amazing, but the CPU is well known for being a decent choice for budget gamers, and it's definitely a nice step up with the i3 scoring a 228 before. The Firestrike's results were a bit striking, since the score from the previous build was only bested by 100 points. This is obviously due to the clear bottleneck from the GPU, which if upgraded should allow the system to be much more viable for modern 1080p games at higher settings. As an example of a popular game, I decided to play Overwatch, knowing full well that it would rely more heavily on the CPU. And I was not disappointed as this game was buttery smooth, pulling off a minimum FPS of 42, a max of 76, and an average of 54 frames per second, with a balance of epic and ultra settings. This goes without saying, but of course these frame rates were playable, and thank you Blizzard for optimizing your games well. As a quick disclaimer, I'm still perfecting the art of game capture, so don't be surprised if I tell you the gameplay is smooth when the recording appears to stutter. This is because of the game capture itself, not the actual gameplay. So finally, we come to the big question. But can it play Crysis? Wait, who put that there? I don't even own Crysis. Okay, but for serial, I loaded up Cities Skylines and this is what I got. Unfortunately, as I should have expected, the GTX 460 bottlenecked the game so hard that it almost felt like it performed worse than the original system. Of course, this couldn't be true, and to be fair, the GTA 5 replica map is very much a worst case scenario since it has a huge population and tons of textures and buildings. Although lowering the settings on the Los Santos map didn't help much, spinning up a new map yielded slightly better frame rates than before, but again with a clear bottleneck on the side of the GPU. So for the sake of the argument, I swapped out the GTX 460 with the GTX 1050 from the $250 gaming PC build that I did on my channel earlier, and this is where I realized that I could not do this. And what I mean by that was not only did I not feel comfortable uploading the video to my channel, I did not want to cheap out on my brother-in-law's upgrade. The system could not even provide enough power for the one game that he wanted to play. Enter in the build savior, the PowerColor HD 7870. Yes, the system ended up being an all AMD build, but a powerful one at that. Also a power hungry build, but the 500 watt power supply should have no issues pumping some juice into the two 6-pin power ports, which to be fair the 460 had as well. I was blown away at the new results, as the system was able to trump the original Firestrike score by almost literally double the points at 4,973, which makes sense given how much newer and beefier the 7870 is compared to the antiquated 400 series GeForce card. But I was even more happy to find out that the system now played Cities Skylines at a steady 47 plus frames per second, with highs in the 70s and lows around the 20s. Again, this was the Los Santos map, so I don't have any doubts that my brother-in-law will happily soar in the 60s to 80s at max settings on a more reasonably sized map. Plus, the dips were usually due to sporadic zooming in and pivoting that I like to do during my benchmarks, again to provide a true worst case scenario. So when a user plays these games more normally, they should expect much more. Overall, I can't say I was completely disappointed with the initial build, since the better CPU would have definitely given my brother much more headroom for upgrading in the future, since his dated i3 550 will become more of an issue as modern games utilize more cores. And yes, the 6300 isn't the greatest CPU for the future either, but he doesn't plan on gaming too much anyway, so it's a welcomed upgrade. On top of that, after throwing in the 7870, I was completely ecstatic with the results. This PC is actually even better than the one I put in this case last year, since the GPU is exceptionally more powerful, and for $55 it was a steal to say the least. I'll be handing this build to him sometime this week, and hopefully sticking a nicer heatsink in before then with some juicy overclocks, and he should be well on his way to Cities Skylines, building some dank scenes. Why does that sound so familiar? Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like on it if you did. It helps show that you're engaged with the content and not just simply watching for the first 30 seconds and leaving. And an even more helpful way to do that is by commenting below with any feedback you have on the video or just letting me know what kind of PC you have and what you plan to do with it in the future. This channel and community have been growing really fast and I'm so thankful for all the friendships and help that we can provide for one another. So again, light up that comment section and I'll do my best to reply to everyone. And just in case you were waiting for it, the 5 winners for the 5K subscriber giveaway are everyone here on the screen. So I'll be contacting you via YouTube messages to confirm your entry and prize. Thanks for responding in my giveaway video, and I hope you enjoy your new game. As a heads up, as I announced on Twitter, I'll be doing a budget build competition much like the $250 budget build showdown that you may have seen, and I'll be going up against some of the hottest tech tubers in the sub 50,000 subscriber range, so please be sure to show your support by watching that video in the next few weeks. The budget and participants will not be revealed until the video, but trust me, it's good. It's real good. Also, another announcement, which is somewhat under wraps, but something really big will be happening towards the end of the month. Also, hit that subscribe button below, or the one that appears in the end screen if you enjoy the tech content and would like to see more like it. Oh, and in case you didn't know, I'm Lee from comptv. Post-credit unboxing Lego. I actually don't remember what's in here, so let's see. Orange Tic Tacs. Who doesn't like orange Tic Tacs? A new LED bulb for my lamp that died a while back. A knife sharpener for the kitchen knives that we have. But this is the one that's most important right here. Knife, you served me well, but I've had you for far too long, and you're pretty ugly. Introducing the new comptv unboxing knife. Bam! Here is the new comptv unboxing knife. Whoa. Why do I say this is the most important? Because I'll be using this comptv unboxing knife in order to unbox the cornerstone piece of my budget build for the budget build competition that's coming up. So let's see what it is. More packageception. That cut's so easy. Are you kidding me? Okay, now for real, let's see what it is.